Good morning. Don't know if this picture is a bit grainy today, but I'm going to read the last talk of this book of Vimala Thakar, Life is to be Related. It's from 14 April 1982. Words are a difficult medium of communication because words have different associations in the minds of people. Every word is loaded not only with interpretations, but also with associations of emotions and ideas. The moment a person begins to speak, it is quite possible that in the listener elicits an emotional association of the past. Memories are stirred up, and a kind of resistance comes between the listener and the speaker. Verbal communication, though a feeble and dangerous way of communication, is the only way on the mental level that we have. We live through the mind, we function through the brain, and therefore words become necessary. They are a means to an end. If the verbal communication can lead us into a non-verbal communication of the hearts, then it serves the purpose. Every one of us should question ourselves in the privacy of the heart whether we want an unconditional and inner freedom to live in. In the 20th century, man believes that he wants freedom, but I wonder whether he really wants it. We should question ourselves whether we really want it and need it, as we need food to satisfy our hunger. Because freedom offers no security. Freedom and security do not go together. Freedom is a total vulnerability to life. Would we like to be rendered vulnerable to all the challenges of life? Or would we like corners carved out in the name of theories and live in those corners away from the midstream of all the challenges and feel secure? What is it that we really want? If we feel suffocated without an inner freedom, then the inquiry will become genuine. But in some corners of the mind, we are afraid of this total freedom. We would like to have some protective authority behind us in the form of personalities or theories, conclusions, so that we can fall back on them, seek protection from them when we feel in danger. And then it is not genuine. Our freedom is not genuine. To be free is to live in insecurity, even in danger. Then it is, excuse me, wait. To be free is to live in insecurity, in danger, to be vulnerable to the insecurity of life and its movements. Do we really want this? The intensity, the passion, and the depth behind the inquiry determines the quality and the momentum of the inquiry. Have we seen how we are slaves to our mind, how we are bound to to the egos, how those petty little egos of ours insinuate us from the isolate us from the totality of life and keep us busy all the time, the whole life long, maintaining the identity of that petty little I, the ego. Do we realize the nature of this slavery? Have we watched and observed that the movement of the mind is mechanical? There is no originality, no freshness, no freedom in the movement of the mind. Does that fact pierce our hearts, make us restless, and create a thirst for freedom as a thirsty person looks for water? Have we seen how our whole life is governed by some authority or another? We have accepted authority and we are conforming our behavior to the dictates of authority. Unless there is an intimate encounter with the inner facts of life, we will not be able to say to ourselves whether we truly want freedom or not. Not freedom in one field of life, but freedom within, in the totality of being. No authority whatsoever. No looking for psychological security whatsoever. I'm not referring to physical security. One must have that. We, we must decide what kind of work we're going to do, how we're going to maintain ourselves. All these details have to be worked out so that the physical organism gets some stability and indeed security. The organic intelligence contained in the body cannot function if there is instability and uncertainty on the physical level. So, on the physical level, the organic intelligence has to be assured about the place to live in, the livelihood, the means to provide food, clothing, and shelter, and to take care of health, etc. If the body and the intelligence contained in the body do not know where it is going to be tomorrow morning, how is it going to maintain itself? Then the person cannot hope to conduct this inquiry of self discovery, of freedom, realization. The physical security has to be taken care of as the foundation of the inner freedom. In an atmosphere of uncertainty, the brain cannot function well. The brain requires certainty and assurance about the basic needs of life. When that is taken care of, we turn and find out the quality of our own mind and of our own behavior and try to understand whether the behavior is based on authority governed by habit patterns or if it vibrates with inner freedom, whether it is controlled by the reactions of other people, whether it is controlled by the expectations we have from other people, the ideas of social prestige and respectability. What is the source of our action and behavior? And what are the governing factors? If we look into this aspect of our life, we will find out, if we're honest enough, that we feel quite safe when we are told to do certain things, to adhere to authority. In every level of relationship, we are looking for security. We so want to be secure. The security given by society, by legislation, by tradition, by our own possessiveness. If we want security, meaning denying freedom to others, are we really entitled to believe that we want freedom where we belong to none and no one belongs to us? We belong to life, to God, to the totality of life. The state of freedom is the state of renunciation. We do not give up anything. We do not own anything. We do not reject anything. We do not possess anything psychologically. But we love to possess not only objects, but human beings too, and knowledge and experiences. For us, our existence is constituted of possessions, and the bigger the possessions, the richer we think we are. To be free is to be empty, my friends, to get reduced to nothingness and nobodiness. There is no center that will try to own and possess anything in this world. In that humility of nothingness, of fearlessness, in that humility of renunciation, where there is no assertion, just being alone and communication, life changes constantly. Do we really want that freedom? Freedom is a state of total non-identification. If there is no urge for freedom, we, we do well to pursue the methods, the techniques that give security and be content with it. But if we are playing the game of self-deception, then in the evening of life there remains only emptiness in the heart, and the hands are full of the ashes of empty words. We should be ruthlessly honest with ourselves in this voyage of self-discovery. We believe that we would like to find out what love is, but that is a superstition most of the time. Because love is austere. Love is not an attachment that we can feel on a sensual level. It does not gratify the sensual demands necessarily. It may, but it may not. It offers no security, or nor a sense of belonging. Love is like the air, it is everywhere. Love is like the breath of life. It is not in relation to any particular individuals, but in relation to the whole. Then there is a tremendous velocity in that state of freedom and love. It changes the person qualitatively. There is inner freedom, a state of nothingness, and this love that is a sense of being united with the whole of life and the awareness of the unity of life, the sense of being one with the total melts away all the obstacles, rigidities, and identifications. And the third thing is the superstition that we want peace collectively and individually. With this third question, I'm going to leave you so that when you get home, you can ask yourselves intensely, mercilessly, and find out for yourselves if you truly want peace. We love activity. Incessantly, we love movement. Not that one is going to deny movement. Movement is a part of life, just as motionlessness is a part of life. But we are so addicted to activity or to movement of some kind or other, physical or mental, and peace is the relaxation that motionlessness brings about. Peace is a byproduct of the state of non-action. Can we bear that state of non-action even for an hour? Can we bear silence when the mind moves not, where the feelings stir not? That magnificent emptiness reigns supreme within the flesh and bones. So, my friends, a religious life is the life of an inner revolution where the dimensions change from the dimension of motion to the dimension of non-motion or motion-free, an action-free dimension. Meditation and the silence within meditation is a state where this egolessness, this motionlessness reigns supreme. If after merciless consultation and asking of ourselves if we really feel that we would like to find out what this dimension of freedom and love is, and we have seen the futility of the mental movement, that the mind cannot reach God, but if the mind stops its squirrel-like acquisitive, fear-ridden, and security-minded activities, if the mind can discontinue its activities, then silence will be there naturally. In the motionlessness silence, emptiness will be there. If we really urgently are in need of peace, love, and freedom, then only a genuine spontaneous inquiry will begin. Then there will be a foundation for the inquiry. If these 3 points are clear, I would like to proceed. The 3 points of love, peace, and freedom. Let us suppose that we find out that we would like freedom, peace, and that state of love. How do we begin? How do we set out? As a hint from a friend, the first thing I see is that we do not move an inch from where we are placed by life. We do not wander around in search of guides, teachers, and masters, but we stay put in the situation that life has placed us and try to find out our own conditionings. That's the soil of the mind. As we move and walk upon this earth, and there is a contact between the movement of our feet and the gravity of the earth. In the same way, When our mind moves, it has a contact with our own conditionings, which are woven into our flesh, bones, and blood. We must find out those conditionings and understand them for what they are. Ignorance about our own conditionings and running about the world in search of the latest modes of conditionings won't take us anywhere. We understand what our own conditionings are, how they blind us, or how they strengthen or weaken us. The acquaintance with the nature of conditionings is absolutely necessary. So we stay put, we look and observe our own life and understand the nature of conditionings, how they have created habit patterns, superstitions, myths, beliefs. The whole thing is actually seen by us. Then we say, well, if this is the authority woven into my blood, if this authority is going to be an obstacle or block my inquiry, let me brush it aside. This brushing aside is done with all humility, not with the arrogance that we have nothing to do with the past, the authority of the past, not throwing them away. So, this brushing aside, okay, so then we say, well, if this authority woven into my blood, if this authority is going to be an obstacle for my inquiry, let me brush it aside. This brushing aside is done with all humility, not with arrogance that we have nothing to do with the past, the authority of the past. We're not throwing it away. Not in arrogance, but in humility we say, well, the experiences of my forefathers might be true, but they are of no use to me. I'm not continually going to approximate my actions to their experiences. I'm not going to create an ideal out of the past, out of the experiences of the people, and try to reach those experiences. Then I'll be running away from myself. So we brush aside the authority so that a voyage of exploration can truly begin. If we are cluttered with all manners of authority around us, even the authority of our own thoughts, then the inquiry cannot take place. We only try to project those experiences on us, or we try to repeat them emotionally. We try to create the surroundings, the circumstances, so that those experiences can be repeated in us. Repeating experiences, even those of all our forefathers, is not a discovery, my friends, nor approximating our actions to that of Ramakrishna or Krishnamurti. Repeating experiences is not a discovery, my friends, nor approximating our actions to that of a Ramakrishna or a Krishnamurti. Repeating experiences is not a discovery, my friends, nor approximating our actions to that of a Ramakrishna or a Krishnamurti. They have lived or are living their own lives. Let them live. Our life is our own. We have to live that, our own life. We cannot deny or reject the past. The only thing that can be done is to see that we cannot and will not be a prisoner of the past, that we cannot try to run away from our own being, try to copy and imitate someone else and believe that we can become that. The process of discovery is not the process of becoming. The process of discovery may be the process of unlearning wrong things, washing out imbalances, or learning a scientific approach. But it surely is not imitating, conforming, and approximating. In imitation, there is death. We are here to be what we are. Let the potentialities blossom and flower, and God resides in every heart, in every being. God, the totality of life, the unconditioned energies, the pure isness of life. There is not the minutest particle on earth where divinity does not make its own abode. This is the mystery of life. The mystery of life cannot be uncovered by the intellect and by knowledge and by repeating the past. It may reveal itself unto us if we are in the state of non-knowing and humility. It reveals itself to us. We don't attain it, experience it, and so on. We brush aside the authority because we do not want to imitate, conform, approximate. I think until here, and then we will finish this talk tomorrow. It's the last talk of this little book. So I wish you a wonderful day. Bye for now.